Welcome in YouTube. Time for another 2022 early rankings, this time for the running backs. Let's go. All right, everybody. Our top 5 running back starts with no other than Derrick Henry. He is the definition of consistency. He likes to truck people. He's fun to watch. He does a lot of breakaway. He'll stiff arm anybody in the game. It is what it is. Let's go over some of his numbers. 219 carries, 937 yards, 10 touchdowns, 18 catches for 154 yards, no touchdowns. He played in 8 games, was hurt for half the season, but if you look at his consistency, I'm telling you, he's the one to pick. In my eyes, he is definitely the number 1 running back over some of these other guys. I know there's some debate going on, especially in the top 4 guys, but Derrick Henry is definitely the number 1 for me. If you look at him, the positive run percentage, he's at 81.7%. That's definitely in the green. That's some of the best in the game it possibly can. That's when he gets past that line of scrimmage, and is he at least going to be making some type of positive gain? 81.7. That's top tier right there. Average yards after contact 3.1, again in the green, above average. Touches per game. This is what blows me away and what makes him the number 1 person clearly in my book. Touches per game, 29.6 touches a game. Pretty much 30 touches a game. When you're touching the ball, you're able to get fantasy points. And Derrick Henry is the catalyst for getting fantasy points for your team. Definitely in the green there. Percentage of snaps with a touch. That means that when he's on the field, every snap that he's on the field, the percentage of those times that he actually touches the ball, 60.5%. He is the offense. When you're touching the ball 60.5% of the time that you're on the field, that's gold right there. Derrick Henry, definitely my number 1 guy. The percentage of team targets, 3.8%. He's not really a big... He can catch the ball, but that's not his primary goal. Average depth of target is negative 0.4, so right at the line of scrimmage. Nothing to really look at there. It's kind of in the red, but obviously you don't expect much more for Derrick Henry. Catch rate, 90%, so when they do throw it to him, he does catch the ball. Average yards after the catch, we're looking at 9.3. So if he catches the ball, you best watch out because he's probably going to run somebody over. That's definitely in the green. He had 5 100-yard games, and one of the biggest things you need to look at when you're looking at a fantasy football wide receiver or running back or not necessarily quarterback, but tight ends. When you're looking at all these flex players, you need to see what their snap count is. What's the average of them actually being on the field? Because if they're on the sidelines, they're not making you no cash. Okay, Derrick Henry, 71% out of all the running backs. That was his snap count. That's huge. That's what you want, somebody in the 70%. That's what's going to help you. Let's go ahead and go on to our number 2, which in a lot of people's books is probably their number 1 running back. But I try not to be recency biased because Jonathan Taylor took the league by storm last year. He was dominant, and extremely consistent, and he stayed healthy. He played 17 games last year. He ended up with 332 attempts for 1,811 yards, 18 touchdowns, 40 catches, 360 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Guys, you cannot go wrong, even if you pick him number 1. But he's right now my number 2 running back as it stands right now. But a lot of people have him at number 1 because of his consistency and the team he plays on. He plays in a division with the Texans. And he plays in a division with not such, let's be nice, not such great teams, right? And I'm gonna say it one more time. He plays in the division with the Texans. Yeah, plays him twice a year. Hello. Look, positive run percentage, 81%. That's good. That's up there with Derrick Henry. Gotta love that. Yards after contact, 3.3. Definitely in the green there. 21.9 touches a game. Now, you know how big he was, how dominant Jonathan Taylor was at 21.9%. That's what I was talking about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was at 29.6. So he almost had another 8 or 9 carries or touches per game than Jonathan Taylor. And Jonathan Taylor was a beast. That's why I liked Derrick Henry. But let's go back to Jonathan Taylor. Percent of snaps with a touch. 51% of the snaps he had a touch. The percent of team targets, 10.5%. Definitely in the green. That's good. He's involved in the passing game. He has good hands. Average depth of target, negative 0.9. Again, about almost a yard behind the line of scrimmage, so like swing passes and screens and such like that. Catch rate 78.4%. That's kind of in the median. He has decent hands. He can catch the ball. Yards after contact 10.1. So again, he's touching the ball. He's making something happen. Definitely in the green. And he ended up with 10 100-yard games. That's big. You're looking for that 100 yard in a lot of leagues. You're looking at bonus points when someone reaches the century mark, and he definitely did that 10 times. Average snap percentage 69%. Great. That's what you want. You want 69, 70%. Anything closer to that 70%, that's the fantasy gold number that we're looking at. Okay. Now, let's move to our third person, which would be Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey was the number one running back by far a couple years ago. Then he's had 2 years in a row now. He's missed significant time. He's even on the trading block. Supposedly they're listening for things, but I don't think he's going anywhere. He should be staying in Carolina. He's prolific. He just needs to stay healthy. Last year he only played in 7 games himself, 99 attempts, 442 yards and a touchdown, 37 catches, 343 yards, and a touchdown as well. Some of his numbers, we're looking at positive run percentage, 80.8%. That's positive right there. Average yards after contact, 2.1% in the green. Touches per game, 19.4 in the green. Percent snaps with a touch, 52.3% in the green. Team targets, 7.2% in the green. Average depth of target, 2.4 yards. Whether he's doing those inside cuts, those out slots, those slants, whatever the case is, 52.3%, he's rocking and rolling. For the snap count. But when you're talking about the depth of target with a 2.4, that's good. That's what you want. Nothing behind that line of scrimmage. Catch rate 90.2. He's got some solid hands, and it's 7.1 yards after the catch. That's golden. That's what you're looking for. 100-yard games. He didn't have any, but then again, he was hurt for 2 out of the 7. So it is what it is. Average snap count 60%. He was still on the field. I know the last years when he was actually super healthy, he was on the field like 90% of the time, right? When he came back today, when he came back this season, they wanted to be more safe with him. And as you can see, this injury proneness. So I'm hoping that his just small frame isn't going to kind of hold up, because this guy could easily be a first ballot Hall of Famer if he could stay on the field and stay healthy. Let's go ahead and move to our fourth person, which is Dalvin Cook. Talking about somebody staying healthy. This guy has no idea even how to spell healthy. I'm telling you, it's just one of those things where he's either playing 12 or 13 games a season. That's just what you get out of him. And I said in a previous video, if you draft Dalvin Cook, you need to draft Alexander Mattison as his handcuff, because no matter what, you're probably playing Alexander Mattison for the playoff run at the end of the year. Dalvin Cook just does not like to stay healthy. Last year, solid numbers when he was on the field, 249 attempts, 1,159 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns, 34 catches, 224 yards receiving, and no touchdowns. Some of his numbers, we got positive run percentage, 75.5%. Can't complain with that. Average yards after contact, 2.2, which is about league average. Touches per game, 21.8. That's green. That's what you want to see. Percent snaps with a touch, 49.3, definitely in the green. Percent of team targets, 8.1%. Definitely solid in the green. Average depth of target, -2. So there, if he's getting a swing pass or whatever the case is, he's getting smacked back there. But catch rate 69.4%. Doesn't have the best hands in the world. When he does catch it though, average yards after contact 8.5. That's in the green. He's going to make something happen. In 4 100-yard games, and again, what we want to see is those numbers in the high 60s and 70s. Average 71% of the snap count. He's on the field when he's there. So let's go to our last, which is Alvin Kamara. And hear me out. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, he might even go to jail. He might miss time. There's a possibility, because he got into a fight after the Pro Bowl, that he may not even be here this season. But again, these rankings are coming out before the NFL draft, before free agency, before we have to do. I'm just saying, as of right now, Alvin Kamara is my number 5 running back, and that's certainly going to change if we know anything legally that's going to happen with him. Last year, he was solid when he was on the field. He played 13 games, 240 attempts, 898 yards, and 4 touchdowns, 47 receptions, 439 yards receiving, 5 touchdowns. You can't complain with that at all. we dive a little bit deeper into his numbers. Positive run percentage, 80.8%, definitely solid. Average yards after contact, 2.5, solid. Touches per game, 22.1, that's what you want to see. He is the main focal point, but now with Michael Thomas coming back, that could step down a little bit, but he's still going to be a good focal point. Percent snaps with the touch, 47.3, definitely in the green. The percentage team targets, we 14.2%. That's in the green. Average depth of that target is about a yard, which is green. His catch rate, 70.1, which is kind of surprising because Alvin Kamara is a very, very good pass catcher, but the problem was that he was just getting the ball thrown to him, and he would immediately have 2 or 3 people just hitting him already. So that was probably a difficult thing to deal with last year. Average yards after the catch is 9.4. Dude's a beast. If he can get the ball, he's probably making somebody miss. 9.4 yards after the catch was just solid, and 2 100-yard games. And again, we're looking at the highest snap count of my top 5, 75% snap count. Absolutely phenomenal. He was on the field, didn't get many breathers from Mark Ingram, but Alvin Kamara is solid. Guys, that is my top 5 early running backs right now of 2022. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. Really, really appreciate that. Would help me out quite a bit. And other than that, we'll guys see you next video. Take care.